Hi, this is Cruz. I'm bringing to you tonight a live FFPC Standard Dynasty League. It's a 60-second timer, low stakes league, and be starting in 10 seconds. The strategy I want to employ tonight is a strategy I call the All-22, which is simply drafting players that are 22 years and younger. Unfortunately, I drew the 11th spot, which at least in a standard league is not so good for the All-22. I've just got to hope and pray that Breece Hall makes it to me at 11. I've got two quick picks already: Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase. No surprise there. So unfortunately, Javonte Williams is already off the board. He is a 22-year-old and would have been a target at 11. Very unlikely to make it there, however. No surprises so far, other than Christian McCaffrey. I just noticed him on the board. That's a bit early. Unfortunately, Kyle Pitts is now at the top of the queue. Not the queue, the top of the ADP list. So he's likely going to go pretty soon. Oh, and there he goes.
Now you are on the clock.
All right. Who just went? Deebo Samuel. All right. Okay, let's go Breece Hall. That's the only viable 22-year-old that I would pick in the first round, I think, here. Okay, next up.
You are up next.
So I'm looking to go Kenneth Walker
Now
here.
you are on the clock.
Just get my two running backs out of the way, and then I can just kind of spam wide receivers the rest of the way, at least for a while. The only other option here, I think, would be a couple options. Elijah Moore, 22 years old. In fact, I may want to do that because Kenneth Walker could make it all the way back to me.
15 seconds
let's do
left.
this. Let's go Elijah Moore here. So Elijah Moore is 22 years old. Gotta hope that Kenneth Walker makes it back to me in the third round. If not, there's plenty of other options. Got Drake London, whom I've been drafting ahead of Kenneth Walker anyway in some leagues. There's also a host of other rookies that way I can take at the 311. Like Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, George Pickens, Traylon Burks even. All those receivers have been dropping in leagues, but again, in this format, this is kind of makes it a little more challenging and maybe fun, is that I can't just trade back or trade up to grab the player I want. I just got to grab whoever's at my spot. We're allowed in the FFPC to trade before the draft starts, but this draft literally filled 15 minutes after the appointed time. So there was an extension. I saw the opportunity to play in another league and to draft in a startup, and I couldn't resist. Still not seeing anything crazy, unless you might call my Elijah Moore pick that. But I think he's worth it there at the 2-2. What's going on? Derrick Henry. Okay, we're starting to get some of the older players now. Hope that trend continues. It's a long way away from my pick. In an ideal scenario, I'd be trading back, hopefully picking up some first rounders in the process, but trying to trade back to the third round, especially if I landed the 111, probably wouldn't have made the pick there. Certainly not at the 2-2. Would want to trade back to the third round and the fourth round, maybe even the fifth or sixth, because I think those rookie receivers will make it that far in a draft like this. It's just that I don't have the ability right now to take advantage of that. I'm surprised that Jalen Waddle's still on the board, T. Higgins still on the board. Definitely would be picking them in a standard draft strategy. Travis Kelce now. Definitely leaning towards the older players. Another quarterback taken. Shooting to take a quarterback in the 10th round. And that would be Trevor Lawrence. This will be really interesting to see what my team looks like at the end. Is it going to look like a dominant type team projecting out a year or two ahead? Or is it going to look like a sort of a plain vanilla team, given that I haven't been able to make trades back and forth or trade for future firsts? This will be a good test for the All-22. Because taking away all those other tools of trading around or grabbing a bunch of first rounders can really focus in on the benefits of the All-22 itself. I drafted another team. It was a Superflex team from the 11 hole the other night, and except for my first pick, went All-22 the rest of the way. And the reason I didn't take a 22-year-old in the first pick, I also drew the 11 hole and was looking to draft Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts got taken early, and Lamar Jackson just dropped to me at the 111, so I had to take him there. Went All-22 the rest of the way, and that team looks powerful. I'm not getting that same vibe right now with the start of Breece Hall and Elijah Moore. I started in that league with Lamar Jackson, Trey Lance, but then Breece Hall fell to me all the way to the 311. That was amazing. I got one pick in between. I do want Kenneth Walker here. Belichick took A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel. So I'm thinking he's not going to take Kenneth Walker here. There's plenty of other good running backs that he could take anyway. Plus Jalen Waddle's still on the board. That's a little ridiculous. I may have to deviate here because I can't leave Jalen Waddle, a 23-year-old, on the board like
now
this.
You are on the clock.
J.K. Dobbins. Oh boy, I gotta think about this. Do I want to deviate here or do I want to see this through? All right, I'm going to take a little detour here. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle, come back with Kenneth Walker.
15 seconds left.
Here we go. Let's take him. So it's one thing to decide between
You are up
some
next.
way undervalued vet, let's say, and one of these All-22 players. But it's another to weigh the difference between a 23-year-old and a 23-year-old established star like Jalen Waddle and a 22-year-old rookie, Kenneth Walker. I just had to go Jalen Waddle there. Don't think I'm going to regret that. Especially if I can just land Kenneth Walker here and then let the rookies slide as far as they can so that I can get more of them. Were I to grab Kenneth Walker at the 311 and then Drake London at 4-2, for all I know, that could trigger a run in and of itself on those
Now
rookie
you
receivers.
are on the clock.
Now Drake London. Oh, no. Backfire. Okay. I was punished for taking Jalen Waddle at the 311. Didn't get the player I wanted there. Now we're looking at just wondering, looking at the board and seeing what everyone's drafting. That's the first rookie taken, second rookie taken other than Breece Hall. So I'm thinking I want to go Rashad Bateman here to keep those rookies on the board. You know what, though? Don't really want to do that. I don't want to lose out on Drake London.
15
so
seconds
Drake
left.
London here. I already grabbed one vet, second-year player in Elijah Moore. Took another vet in Jalen Waddle. Not even a 22-year-old. So let's get back on track. Go Drake London. So in hindsight, probably would have rather have gone Kenneth Walker there at 311 so that I can just establish my running back base of Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. There's not a whole lot of choices, 22-year-old choices at running back. One of the reasons why you'd want to go 22 at running back, if you're doing what I'm doing, which is playing for years just 2 or years 3, because if you take a 24-year-old young running back, by the time you're ready to win in year 3, let's say, he's 26, and you're looking to trade him at that point. So it's best thing to do is to take a 22-year-old running back. Glad to see Leonard Fournette go. Now George Kittle. Let's keep those old players coming. So who's this combat? He's taking Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler. Comes back around and takes DJ Moore and then Kenneth Walker. There's probably an opportunity there to trade for Kenneth Walker. I could probably trade. I'm wondering if I could trade Jalen Waddle for him. All right, we got Ezekiel Elliott making an appearance. That's really early. Kind of a run on the older running backs in Leonard Fournette, Aaron Jones, and Ezekiel Elliott. Be nice to get David Montgomery out here too at this point. Probably going to start to see some quarterbacks. Some of the elite ones. I mean, not the most elite, but the next tier. Actually, no, he's taken Joe Burrow. A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon's one of those backs, I think he's 24, that looks like a young running back and still developing and on the upward trend. But by the time I need him to win, he's going to be on the trading block at 26. And now that I think about it, I'm feeling pretty good about that Jalen Waddle pick at 311. I've been taking him, or I would take him, in a standard Dynasty League non-superflex in the second round. And I think he belongs there. Goodness, T. Higgins is still on the board. But no, he's not. He was taken 3-8. Well, that would be... All right, Rashad Bateman. There goes one player off my queue. We're coming up again at 5'11". Just as a recap. Let's see. We've got on the team. Started with Breece Hall at the 111. Then went Jalen Waddle at the 311. I'm sorry, Elijah Moore at the 202 and Jalen Waddle at the 311. And then Drake London at the 402. So you would think that by drafting young like I'm doing here, that I'd be in line for that 1-1 next year, which will be ultra valuable. But that's not necessarily the case. In the FFPC, in a non-best ball league,
You are up next.
it's not ordered worst to first. I'll get back to that in a second. Let's figure out who I'm picking here. Who just went off my queue?
Now
Somebody did.
you are on the clock.
I want Garrett Wilson here, 5'11". Where he normally would go. Start here and then got 45 seconds. Oh, it's a tough one here. I do need. Let's go. All right, let's take him. It's gonna be my pick right away again. I should take a look at some of these vets too, just to make sure no one crazy is dropped. I'm not seeing anyone that's just
You are up next.
outrageous. We got Jameson Williams, Traylon Burks. Jameson Williams has been falling in some leagues. Might be able to land him at 7-11. So I think I gotta go Traylon Burks. I've been going George Pickens around here too. Right, we've got how much time? 4 seconds. Looks like we might get an auto draft here. I don't think so. He's gonna pick somebody.
Now
Nope.
you are on the clock.
Did he auto draft? Who did he take? Deontay? No. Why am I not seeing? Who's taken? Oh, I'm on Ra. All right. I'm going. Not Jameson Williams because he might there's an off chance he'll make it back to me. I got 45 seconds. But I could take Should be the time here again to take a running back, but just don't feel good about taking a running back here in the 6th round. It would be James Cook or Damian Pierce. So I think I'm going to go Traylon Burks. Keep loading up at wideout here.
15 seconds left.
So back to how the FFPC orders future draft picks. The bottom 6 teams that don't make the playoffs get into a consolation playoff bracket. And the worst 2 teams get a bye in the first round. So the first place team in the consolation playoff gets the 1-1. The second place team gets the 1-2, and so on. So if I don't make the playoffs, let's assume I'm going to be one of the bottom 2 teams. I'll likely end up with the 1-4. I definitely want to do whatever I can here to land that 1-1 next year. Bijan Robinson. It's even more critical in a standard league. Whereas in the Superflex, you've got some quarterbacks that are high value as well and push everyone down. So even if you get the 112 in a Superflex league, you're still getting a good player. So any pick is good in a Superflex. It makes it easier to trade for future first round picks during the startup, because it's not critical that they be one of the worst teams. Whereas in this draft, or in this format, I wouldn't want to be trading, for example, one of these 6th round picks for a future first if that future first is going to be the 111 or 112 or something like that. That wouldn't be good value. I'd rather just pick one of these players now, like a Jameson Williams. I've got Allen Robinson. Another thing you have to consider if you're thinking of going all 22 is that tight ends are really non-existent for this year. I mean, we've got Trey McBride, but who knows where he's going to be next year. Is he going to be a starter at that point, hopefully? There's Isaiah Likely, there's Jelani Woods, there's a couple others that you'd want to have on your team, but doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence for next year if you're looking to compete in year 2. Okay, we're coming back around. So far, nothing special going on in this draft for my team. Definitely not getting the same vibes as some of the other teams. But we've got Breece Hall, and then we've got the 5 wideouts. Hopefully 5 stud wideouts by next year. Still looks good. Especially if I can get some quality player here at the 7-11. Better work on my queue just a little bit. Or at least look at it here. We've got George Pickens. It's time to get... Oh wait, George Pickens still at the top. Oops. No. Let's get James Cook second for my RB2. Then probably going to want Sky Moore. Oops. No. Then we're getting a little dicey. Let's look at the vets list here. You know who's a good value? I saw him do this in a Superflex League too. Is Devontae Smith. So I'm going to put him in my queue. In case he keeps dropping, I don't know if I can pass on him at 7-11. Did Chris Olave already go? Whoa, 6-8. Another good pick here would be Brandon Ayuk. Someone should take him. Is that just Dallas Goedert there? Yep. Okay. Let's look at this board. Some values. Maybe even time soon here to grab a quarterback. Trey Lance at 22. I don't think he turns 23 till next March, I think. So he's one of the younger quarterbacks. He's younger, I think, than Trevor Lawrence, who turns 23, I think, this fall. There goes James Cook. That's unfortunate. I don't mind. Oh, there goes Trey Lance, too. I don't mind going one starting quality running back in this draft. We're required to draft at least 2. So we have to come out of this draft with 2. I'm going to come out of this draft probably with 3 or 4. Oh, there goes Devontae Smith. Okay, it's coming up here. Got 2 picks away. Just got to hope George Pickens makes it. Otherwise, we're going down to the next tier. Worst case, Pickens more here. That would be mildly disastrous. Is there anyone else? You know what? I'm going to stray away again here if need be, because we've got Pat Freiermuth staring at me. That solves the problem of tight end. So if you're willing to bend a little bit,
You are up next.
stray away from the all-22 to get someone like Pat Freiermuth, and problem solved. He's 23. So, okay, we got 1 pick here. I've got to go George Pickens, though, if he makes it here. But Combat's likely to take Pat Freiermuth. Where does he stand? He's a little bit down on the list. So is George Pickens, but I'm going to go George Pickens, and let's assume that Pat Freiermuth. Oh, I'd love it if he just takes the top of the ADP here at Dalton Schultz. Pat Freiermuth will probably get taken in the middle, and then I will
Now
get
you are on the clock.
Damien Harris. Love it. Wow. So if I take George Pickens here, Pat Freiermuth goes, and I'll probably get Sky Moore on the way back. That'll be an okay result. It's a lot of wideouts. This is a wide receiver-driven team here. Okay, we're going to go George Pickens. Okay. Let's go George Pickens. Gotta do it. 7-11. Okay. Probably gonna have to say goodbye to Pat Freiermuth at this point. But if not, he is at the top of this next tier. Thinking Combat's going to take him because, well, no, he still has Dalton Schultz. That'll be even better. He doesn't have a tight end yet. So now he's going Rashad White. Okay. We've got, he looks like he's going for a win now, but with
you
young
are
players.
on the clock.
That's good. There you go. That's what I was hoping for. Dalton Schultz, a savior. All right, we're going to go Pat Freiermuth here, 23 years old. So I'm all set now at tight end. Okay. All right, next round. This is where I'm going to have to hope Trevor Lawrence makes it all the way back. All right, Elijah Mitchell off the board. Still have Sky Moore, John Dotson, and Christian Watson. Let's move this up a little. So I usually like to trade for, as I mentioned earlier, trade for at least a few first rounders for 2023. But since I wasn't able to do that here, the roster is just looks totally different. I mean, you're not going to end up with what do I have, 7 here? I have 6 wide receivers like I do here. You're not going to end up with those types of players if you have too many first rounders. So that's nice, and with a nice start with Breece Hall. This team is shaping up. It's going to be pretty good. But if I take a quarterback
Now
here,
you are on the
Combat's
clock.
likely to take a quarterback too. And then Sky Moore can make it all the way back to me. Yeah, I'm just not in a... I'm going to go Sky Moore here because... I'll to let Trevor Lawrence hopefully fall to me, and if not, then I'll just be flexible and go with the 23-year-old Justin Fields. All right, here we go. Waiting on Trevor Lawrence.
You are up next.
I think he's the next quarterback on the list anyway. Sean Watson is, but would make sense here if I were to
Now
offer up
you are on the clock.
Jalen Waddle for Kenneth Walker. Let's see if he'd be willing to do that. Because I've got a ton of wide receivers now. Let's go Trevor Lawrence. Let's go. Anyone else? Be Christian Watson, who could make it all the way back to me at 11. Let's go Trevor. Okay. Mostly going according to plan. Well, this isn't terribly exciting at this point, so I think we're going to fast forward this to the end and show you my team. That's unfortunate. Two picks away from Christian Watson at the 11-11.
Now you are on the clock.
Wasn't to be. So the draft has ended. Here's what I ended up with. A quarterback, we've got Trevor Lawrence at the 10:02, Kenny Pickett the 15th round, Desmond Ridder near the very end of the draft. Running backs, we've got Breece Hall in the first round, Michael Carter in the 12th round, Isaiah Pacheco in the late 11. Then we've got receivers in order of where I would have them ranked in Dynasty. Jalen Waddle at the 3:11, Elijah Moore at the 2:02. Then we've got Drake London at the 4:02, Garrett Wilson 5:11, Traylon Brooks 6:02, George Pickens at the 7:11, Sky Moore at the 9:11, David Bell at the 14:02. That's quite a good group of wide receivers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 quality wide receivers, I think. Then we've got, too bad this isn't a best ball league, but tight end, we've got Trey McBride. Nope, actually Pat Freiermuth at the 8th round. Then Trey McBride in the 13th, and Jelani Woods in the 17th. Greg Dulcich in the 18th round. That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.